Last week we started his Simon Ches, Seif Chavzai. We started. We'll go through the beginning again quickly. So the Mechaber says, "Atzamois sheruyim leklavim." You have bones left over that are edible for klavim, for dogs, for klipim and peels. Sheruyim l'maychel behema, that animals could eat it. Perurim she'ein behem kazayis, or pieces of bread that are less than a kazayis, crumbs. Mutar la'avinam el shulchan because they're not muktzah. We spoke out last week that there's no denoilat over here. Yeah. You take it out with your hands, it's not muktzah. Why? Because the Mechaber says we're not chayshish v'noilat. Aval, but in my klipin ru'in l'maychel behema, but if the klipin aval ein, sorry, aval ein a klipin ru'in l'maychel behema, also the taltalam, you're not allowed to move them. Ella menaris the tavla behem leiflim. You're allowed to move the thing they're on, the board that they're on, and they fall down. Now we saw the Magen Avraham last week. That what happens here is these klipim, these bones and these shells, they're muktzah. The regular muktzah to move them b'yadayim, you're not allowed to move them because they're not royal l'maychel behema. But still, menaris the tavla behem leiflim. You're allowed to move the board that they're on, and they'll fall down. And the Magen Avraham goes through and he asks, what happened to buses? Why don't these pieces of muktzah, to put it down on something, why didn't it become buses or davar? Also, it brings out three terutzim from Taisus and Beya. You were mechaber to put it in that place, in Amakbid. But then the Magen Avraham himself argues. And he says, you can never make a buses in the middle of Shabbos. Anytime you put something down on Shabbos, on something, muktzah on something, on Shabbos, you can never create a buses on Shabbos. So according to the Magen Avraham, you'll never have a problem, no matter what your kavanah was, you'll never have an issue. It's always mutter to move the thing that it's on. The Mishmur passes like the Magen Avraham, if I'm not mistaken.
So is this referring to the case where you put put a child on a davar muktzah?
You mean child? No, not on a child. No. Yeah. What do you mean?
Because that's a case of a buses, right? Let's say you want to pick up something that's muktzah, so you put the child on top of that, and you pick up the child.
No, so we'll see soon. That's not. No, we'll get to that. A kicker tinuk, you mean?
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
But that's not what we're talking about.
No, we're not talking about that now. No. Here, the Magen Avraham holds, you put muktzah on something, it's not a buses at all. You're allowed to move. You put muktzah on a plate. You put bones on a plate. The Magen Avraham holds the plate never becomes muktzah. You're always allowed to move it.
On Shabbos.
On Shabbos.
So the buses have to be established before Shabbos.
Right. Buses has to be ben hashmoshes. The Magen Avraham holds that any time you put a davar hamuktzah on something on Shabbos, the muktzah thing is muktzah. It doesn't become always muktzah. But you're allowed to move the thing that it's on. It never becomes a buses.
Which is why you would be allowed to, if you put the peels or something on a plate, you'd be allowed to
move the plate. Without the Magen Avraham brings down Tosfos with three terutzim of Tosfos why here it's not a buses.
Right.
But the Magen Avraham himself says at the end that he holds that there's no buses by Emtzah Shabbos.
Right.
So you can never make a buses. The plate can never become usher to move.
But that's his first teretz, right?
No. He brings the three terutzim from Tosfos.
The first teretz that it wasn't. I thought that's really his.
He has three terutzim. One teretz is right, but isn't no. Is if you would put something down on Shabbos and you had in mind to leave it to the rest of Shabbos, it would become a buses.
Even according to the Magen Avraham?
No, according to Magen Avraham, not. The first teretz in Tosfos, according to Tosfos, if you put something on Shabbos and you have in mind to leave it there the whole day, it's taka buses.
So it's not that it had to be there before Shabbos.
Right. But the Magen Avraham holds, even if you put it there on Shabbos and you have in mind to leave it there the whole day, it's still not a buses. I think the Mishnah Group passes like the Magen Avraham. Where's it bring it down? Huh?
266.
You know what? No, it's right down. It's right down.
He brings it, I think, to a different place.
There's a group passes like the Magen Avraham that if it can't become a boss's b'Mitzvah Shabbos.
So if you're cutting a challah on the challah board, you can take that board and then essentially take it to the garbage and
Yeah.
based on the smoke.
Based on Magen Avraham, there's no problem of bosses. You always let them move it and then shake it off.
The Shofar is in a later siman.
Oh, so listen, okay, fine. So that's the Magen Avraham. Then the Mechaber says, so that's menaras hatavla. You like shake it off. Shaking it off is easy way out because it doesn't become a bosses. Then says the Mechaber, the miyesh pas ala shulchan. If there's bread on the shulchan, mutar like bia hatavla v'lotaltla ima klipim she'ena ma'achal behema she'betelim agav pas. Now, before he says menaras hatavla, pashas it means you gotta shake it off right away. You can't go carrying it around wherever you want. But because even though it's not a bosses, but you're not allowed to move the muktzah. You're allowed to shake off the muktzah from the tavla. But you can't go carrying it around wherever you want, because then you're carrying around the muktzah, which is also. So you have to be menaras tavla right away and then shake it off. But if there's a piece of bread al shulchan, then mutar l'hagbiya tavla l'taltla ma'klipim she'enim ma'achal behema she'betelim agav pas. It's bread also. So now there's no problem because the betelim agav pas, and there's no problem. You're allowed to move the muktzah and empty it wherever you want.
The pas has to be on the table.
On the table.
Not on the
Yeah,
shoulder.
that's what it means.
It's the pasta that makes it mutter.
It's the pasta that makes the mutzah, yeah. So the Magen Avraham says over here in Seif Katan Nun Aleph, Shem B'Telim, Klaiman, Avak after the Chom Mokum to have a bosses la'isur u'leheter, right? He's bothered by it. Every time you have something that's a bosses la'isur u'leheter, im yochel l'nayim, tzorech l'nayim, you have to shake it off right away. You can't go carrying it around wherever you want. So he's bothered over here. What did the Mechaber say? The Mechaber said the first part was that it's not a bosses to the tavla. So therefore you could shake it off. If there's pas there, then you could carry it wherever you want. Says the Magen Avraham, we know that something that's a bosses leheter v'le'isr. You have heter and isr on something, so now you're allowed to move it. You're allowed to move the thing with the isr on it. But the halacha is, you have to shake off the isr as quickly as possible. Bosses leheter v'le'isr does not give you a heter to carry around the muktzah the whole time. It gives you a heter to shake off the muktzah. It's one thing we have to remember. The tavla that we had before also. It's not a bosses to the muktzah on it. But it doesn't mean you're allowed to carry it around wherever you want. You're allowed to move the tavla to shake off the muktzah. But you're not allowed to carry the muktzah wherever you want. Here he says, if you have pas, you're allowed to carry it wherever you want. What happened? It's a bosses l'isr v'leheter. You should have to shake off the muktzah. So says the Magen Avraham.
He just said that you can't make a bosses on Shabbos. Now all of a sudden it is a bosses.
No, he says.
No, that's the Magen Avraham. But here he's speaking in the Mechaber. The Magen Avraham himself says you can't make a bosses on Shabbos. The Mechaber holds you could make a bosses, but still this tavla is not a bosses. The tavla is not a bosses. Even if the tavla is not a bosses, I mean it's not muktzah, you still have to shake off the muktzah as soon as possible. Everyone agrees this tavla is not a bosses. The question is why. The Magen Avraham says in the Mechaber because that's not for all Shabbos, never mind to put it there, whatever it is. It's not a bosses, but still you gotta shake it off right away. When you have heter v'isr, so why is it better now? Now that you have the pas on the tavla, why is it better? You should have to shake off the muktzah from the tavla. So he says, "Claim after become welcome to have a bosses v'isr v'heter v'yachol na tzarach na'er k'mar shkos simin shen tesiv gimel v'le amru kikar aitinik el meis v'vad." The whole heter of kikar aitinik is only for a mace. So what do you have over here? You're putting a kikar on it. So now you're allowed to move it. You're not allowed to move it. You're not allowed to move the muktzah. Shani hani shem b'tekin l'gabi apas. Our committed labotel l'gabi apas. We have a letter Torah's kli ein metaltalin agav pas. So he says over here is that there's a big difference between a kicker and a tinuk in our case. In our case, kicker and tinuk, what are you moving? You're moving the mace. The mace is not bottled to the pas. The mace is not bottled to the tinuk. There's a head to move it as a kicker and tinuk. There you're moving the muktzah itself. You're picking up the mace and you're moving it with the kicker and tinuk on it. Here, it's not the case. Here's the reason why you're allowed to move it, because once you have a pas, then everything else on the plate is bottled to the pas. So what he's saying over here is, the head of pas is that it's not muktzah anymore. Everything else on the plate is not
So why do
muktzah
we have
anymore.
to shake then?
You don't have to. He's saying over here you don't have to shake it off. When you have a pas,
Then
you
it
don't
passes
have to
out.
shake it off.
Yeah.
Why not? Because the muktzah is not muktzah anymore. The muktzah is bottled to the pas, and it's not like you're moving muktzah.
Would you say that the klal of ein mevatlin is l'chachila would apply?
No.
You can't put the pas down to be mevatlin?
We'll see in a second about putting the pas down. But it's not because Emma No,
But
it's
it's
not,
not
it's not the question. Is he making rice muktzah? No, it's not. There's no Issa is only by real Issa. Make something not muktzah, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's not really
But
good
here-
bittul. It's
not really bittul, yeah.
It's not really.
Yeah,
If here we're saying that it's agav a pas and we're saying that it's no longer muktzah,
right.
right? Then l'chari you should be able to touch them directly.
No. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to rephrase. That's no longer muktzah.
I'm sorry?
Not that's no longer muktzah. Those pieces there, you want to touch them with your
Well, they
hands,
are.
you can't. What I meant to say is you're not moving muktzah. When we start off Hilchos muktzah, we said in Yisod that muktzah is also to move. And we said we're going to have certain cases that you're moving them. You may be moving the muktzah, but it's not called moving muktzah. Even though actually you're moving it, but it's not called being metaltal muktzah. And this is one of the examples. You have a pas and you have muktzah on it. The muktzah is bottled to the pas. Now it's as if you're not moving the muktzah.
You're being metal to the pas.
You're being metaltal to the
That's
pas.
how we look at it.
Right, and even though you're being metaltal to the muktzah also, you're right, I didn't say it correctly, that it is still muktzah. It doesn't take away the shem muktzah from those pieces. But the tiltal is not a tiltal of muktzah.
Okay.
My movement is a movement of
It's
pas.
not-
Right.
It's important because
Yeah, it is muktzah. Sorry, it is muktzah. But tell him agav a pas only means that it's not considered that I'm moving muktzah.
So
And that-
a way to put it, you still couldn't be metaltel this, the pas and the preferring be a dime. Like you couldn't.
No, you
No,
can't
this-
touch it.
Yeah, right.
Right, you can't touch it
Right.
with a
So
dime.
you still have to use.
Right, you have to use the towel.
Yeah.
That's the towel. But you're allowed to move the towel wherever you want.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to shake off the muktzah right away. Why? Because it's not called that I'm moving muktzah.
And that pas has to be there. Could be put there on
Oh,
Shabbos.
so let's see. We'll see.
or is
We'll
that
see right
going
now.
to be there
That's
before?
the next Magen.
In the case of, just to be clear, the case of the kicker and the tinnik is that the person wants to move the mace,
The mace,
right?
and you put a kick of a tinnik on the mace.
Kicker tinnik on the mace.
So now you're moving the mace. That's what he's saying here. It's not considered that you're not being metaltal the mace. You are being metaltal the mace.
So the cases are different because here it's completely bottle.
Bottle. So he's saying here
And
it's
there
bottle.
the kicker and the tinnik
Right.
is not bottle.
It's not
without the
it's
mace.
not mevatel the mace. The mace is still there. The muktzah is still there.
The muktzah is still there.
You're still being metaltal the muktzah. So you won't be able to have a head of kicker or tinuk to put the kicker on a piece of muktzah and then move the muktzah. That you can't do. Like I
What's
said,
the
the touch the
halacha
muktzah.
the halacha regarding tilful on mace? There, can you put the? We're trying to find that halacha. It's not in Shin Tes Gimel.
It's in Shin Yal
says-
maybe.
It's not in Shin
It says it brings down Shin Tes Gimel, and we didn't see it.
It's
No,
not
Shin
there.
Tes Gimel is the halacha of the you have to be minar. You cannot move the muktzah even though it's a bosses le'isv v'lehetim.
Maybe in Yudalef then.
Mace Shin Yal, yeah.
If it says
Yeah, mace tinnik mace is on in Shin Yal.
it says here Shin Yud Aleph. It
Yeah.
says
But it
that's
also brings
okay.
down Shin Tes.
Shin Tes is by being metaltal of bosses which is the hetiv of the isser. Then you're not allowed to move it around. You have to shake off
You
the
have to do
isser.
it right away.
You have to shake off the isser. Fine. So that's it. So he says if you have the path, it's bottle gabi a path, and therefore you're allowed to move it. And then he says, "Umashma mizeh, the mutal niach etzlam kikar tinuk dum yedemeis." You're allowed to put it on even on Shabbos. you're allowed to take the kikar and put it on the plate, even on Shabbos. And there's no problem over here. So we
But doesn't
said,
that change the status of the muktzah on Shabbos?
what do you matter?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
he says you're allowed to put the bread, the
On
pasta
Shabbos.
and that changes the status of the muktzah items.
Correct.
You're allowed to change status like that?
It doesn't really change the status of the muktzah item, it changes the status of the table.
You gotta put them on the plate.
When I'm moving the table, it's not as if I'm moving the muktzah.
I see, okay.
You're not moving the muktzah, you're moving
You're allowed,
the table
anyway,
itself.
you're allowed to change muktzah on Shabbos. So that makes some, it's muktzah, not muktzah on Shabbos. If it's possible, I'm saying, if you can make some, it's muktzah on Shabbos. The question is the opposite way. So it's not muktzah, to make it muktzah on Shabbos may be a problem. So it says over here, Masham is there, the mutla niach et l'pikar etinik dumya the mace, aber the psakov, the rosh, in the psakim, repeg beis, linear test, kosav, tafku l'zorka b'piv, kisho oichla m'toich hasal, shalachem boy. The only time you're allowed to do that is, you're allowed to put the muktzah into a basket that the bread is inside already from before, aber niach lechem aleim, kedei l'talto, aser. Says the Rosh in Psakim that to go put the bread on in order to move it, that's awesome. Even though you can go ahead and make it as if there's no muktzah anymore.
It has to be before.
You can't do that on Shabbos. Once it's muktzah on a plate, you cannot add the bread.
It has to be there already.
And it doesn't
Put
say
the
the
kippur
reason why.
on the bread, but not the bread on the kippur.
Correct. There's had to go put a kikar is only by meis bavad. Ramban b'mechames, Ran kasud hada asa b'shar mili the kikar. So the Ran and the Ramban say that you can't compare this at all to a kikar etinik. Why? Because they say the hada asa b'shar mili b'kikar hainu k'shemataltal ha'isr mamish, when you're moving the isr itself, the muktzah itself. Aber k'shemataltal ha'heter ha'isr munach olav metaltaloi imoy, and there's no issue. You cannot compare it to kikar etinik. So the Ran and the Ramban say this whole din that you can't do kikar etinik on Shabbos. Everything else is only when you're actually moving the muktzah. But if I'm not moving the muktzah, I'm moving the tavla that the muktzah is on, and I'm putting the kikar on it. The Ran and the Ramban hold it's mutar l'chadchila to put it down on Shabbos. It's not a problem.
So it's two reasons. Either because it's batal or because of the way we're learning the Ramban.
Yeah, because you're not moving the kikar etinik. It's
You're not moving
you're not moving the muktzah. You're not moving the muktzah. Right, you're not moving the muktzah. So Mishnah Berurah, I think, passes like the Ran and the Ramban. Mishnah Berurah says, Mishnah Berurah Seif Kufta Zayin says, "Ve'efshar shafil lechatchila mutar la'aniach pas kedei la'gbiya atavla im kosher la'anir ayin b'Magen Avraham Pri Megadim." So the Magen Avraham, the Mishnah Berurah passage is allowed to put a pas lechatchila on it in order to move it. Now, okay, let's just finish the Seif and then we'll go into a few interesting shilas over here. So, I mean, today it's not so negate to put a pas on a plate that has dirt in it, because you're not gonna put the pas there. You don't want to ruin your bread and put it on a plate that has leftover food,
Peels,
leftover peels and stuff.
Yes,
But we'll get to all that I tell you soon. It's a game where we want to put a pas down or something. If you have something that's muktzah lying on a table and you want to move the table, that's it. Not bones.
No, but if you have a plastic,
Not a tzombus or clipping.
no, if you have a pus in a plastic bag, I mean, you can be in a plastic bag.
Yeah. The question would be when you have.
Maybe just a piece of pasta that's a kazai is big, real pasta,
Yeah.
but it's garbage anyway.
Yeah.
If somebody ate a little bit out of it, you're gonna throw it away.
No, but if you throw it away, then it itself is a muktzah.
Even if it's a kazai?
Even if it's a kazayis.
But you said the Machaber specifically only learned that one kazai.
Because kazayis you don't throw away.
Oh,
But today, if you're going to throw it away, there's one cloud we have to know, and we'll speak about it when we finish the Seif. All this clothing you see, the next couple of Seifim of Muktzah, you can't take everything the way it is, because things change. This is what was muktzah in those days. Today, if you throw out much more, and when someone finishes eating on a plate, no one will touch it, and it's going to go to the garbage, so it could be it's muktzah. It could be it's muktzah. If you have a piece of bread that someone ate and no one else is going to touch it, even though it's more than a kazayas, if today no one touches it, and everybody throws it out, it's muktzah. The klolim up here of muktzah is the way it was in those days. But what's muktzah definitely depends on every community, every place. What people won't touch anymore. Okay, so then the Mechaber finishes up over here and it says, if you need the place where the table is, if you need the place where the table is, and you have muktzah on the table, meaning this pirurim, then the halacha is you're allowed to move the table. Why? Because we just finished saying at the beginning of the Seif that it's not a basis. If it's not a basis, you're allowed to move the table.
Right.
But you have to shake it off. But if shaking it off is end up in a place where you want the place where the table is, so then you're allowed to move it to a place where you could shake it off and it won't bother you.
No, but the Mechaber writes from the Taltala, doesn't say Menayah. He doesn't say Menayah here. He basically says you can actually lift it.
Yeah, but Taltala means because it's not a basis. We always said that something. But so if you have only muktzah on the table, you have to shake it off.
Right.
This muktzah we're talking about is muktzah machmas
Gufay. Yeah, here's muktzah machmas gufay.
Because there's no heter.
There's no heter. Right. This is a muktzah machmas gufay.
What if you need the place on the table? Let's say you want to bring a dessert here, then you can you move it then? Yes, sir.
No, it's muktzah machmas gufay. You can move it through. You can move it with something else.
Right.
You can move it with a plate. Let's say if it's on the plate, you can move the plate.
You can move the
Yeah, you can move the plate because it's not a basis.
Right.
The plate's not a basis.
So you're allowed to then shake off the.
Then shake it off. Correct.
Right.
Fine. There's an important taz here. The taz says in Seif Katan Yudches Nares Atavlo Nero Tehuadin Imavir Ma'idei Davar Acher. You don't have to shake off the tavlo. You let it move it with something else. You're going to migar oisam ayidei sakin min hamaper. You move it with a knife. The mutter kivin leinoga behem. Since you're not touching it, have like tiltum in atzad. Or mutter ch'mash chasafti ch'mash chasav simashin yalef. So the Taz says you have a heter. You have something on a tavlo, and you don't want to move the tavlo. But take a knife and scrape it off. And it's also okay. That's the Taz's heter.
So this would be a heter for those crumb little vacuum things that you put on Shabbos. You know those little handheld
But you have to be
brush
careful not
things.
to touch.
Yeah.
You kind of
So
roll
we'll get to everything. We'll get to everything. Let's just understand what the Taz is. The Taz is saying you're allowed to take the knife and move it off.
Right.
Now the Chazon Ish argues. Chazon Ish says it's not the Chazon Ish really. It's the Shulchan Aruch Harav. He really argues and he says. Probably bring it down from the bottom also. They'll bring it down. The Shulchan Aruch Harav holds if you take something, a knife, and you move the muktzah with it, he holds it's not called tiltum and atzad. The Taz says if you're not touching the muktzah itself, it's called tiltum and atzad, and it's mutter. Shulchan Aruch Harav says that taking something and moving it is not called tiltum and atzad. It's called yodai arichta.
Right.
It's your extended hand. It's an extended hand. That's what it is. All you're doing is it's pushing it off with your hand. It's like wearing a glove. That's what it is basically. That's what the Shulchan Aruch Harav says. The Mishnah Berurah happens to paskin that you could move muktzah with a sakin. So if you look in the Mishnah Berurah over here, you say brings down the Taz. So look at the Mishnah Seif Katan Kuftetz Vav. The Naras Atavla who daf hamunach al shulchan kadei losam al alechem for the mapa prusa v'tama hetehu kivin lemetaltala b'yadayim. Now it says v'hu adin im aviram ayidei davar acher v'goyin shom gar oisam ayidei sakin min hamape v'moter im utzarch v'shtamesh v'mokim v'shomach sham ha'atzamas v'aklipim tezem mikri tiltum min hatzad. Mishburu says it's called tiltum min hatzad v'shari im hu l'tzarech davar hamuter. And As long as you're doing it, the tzarech davar hamuter, it is muter. So the Mishnah Berurah paskins like the Taz, and he says that what it means is the tzarech davar hamuter. If let's say you want to tiltum and atzad, the tzarech davar aser, and we'll see when we learn it, but you're moving it because you want to put away. There's money, let's say. So you want to tiltum and atzad, the tzarech davar aser, because you want to put away the money, you want to save it. Then it's also to do tiltum and atzad. Tiltum with gufay is something else. There's two different things. We spoke at the beginning of Shabbos Semicha, so we'll just review it very quickly. Tiltum and atzad means you're being metaltal, you're moving it. But you're holding something else, and then you're being metaltal that. So you are being metaltal. You are moving something. Tiltum with gufay is you're moving with the elbow, let's say. That's not called tiltul. It's not called moving.
Is it with an extension included or without an extension?
Well, that's the knife, you mean?
Yeah.
So that's the shaila. That's the shaila. That's called tiltum and atzad, or not bechal.
Yeah.
But tiltum with gufay means you move it with your guf.
Your body.
That's your body. That's not called tiltum at all. Tiltum and atzad is you're moving it. You're picking up the tavla and you're moving the muktzah. You're being metaltal it. You're being metaltal through something else. That's called tiltum and atzad. The tzarech davar ha'aser, if you have, let's say, money on it, and you want to put away the money, it's also tiltum and atzad. The tzarech davar ha'heter, meaning I'm moving away the bones, not because I need the bones, because I want the space that it's on, that's called tiltum and atzad, the tzarech davar ha'heter. You don't need the bones, you just want them out of the way. Here's a machlokes, if using a knife, it's called tiltum and atzad or not. If I take a knife to brush it off, the Taz says it is called tiltum and atzad, and it's mutter. The Mishnah goes with it, and
just scraping.
Scraping, yeah. That's machlokes. Chazon was machmir, Shulchan Aruch was machmir. I think most person today will be makel with a knife. That's tiltum and atzad. Then he says,
but before we spoke out, I think we spoke out at the beginning. There is a machlokes between the Chazon Ish and the Mishnah Berurah, right?
Beregel. Which case?
I thought that was tiltum and atzad. In other words, according to the Chazon Ish, he's machmir that he never allows tiltum and atzad.
No. We spoke at the beginning was when tiltum begufay.
Yeah.
You said it's mutter. So you move something with your hand.
The Chazon Ish? The
Chazon Ish said beregel. When you kick something with your foot,
right?
It's not called tiltum begufay. That's called regular tiltum. It's not called tiltum begufay.
So isn't that the same thing as the Chazon Ish?
No. Here's tiltum and atzad. The question is it tiltum and atzad or ziyadei richter? Different machlokes. The other question is moving something with your foot. Is that called tiltum begufay or that's called tiltum regular tiltum? Kicking something with your foot.
You find money on the street, right?
Yeah.
So we spoke about then. It said that
so kicking with your foot.
To kick it to the side, Mishnah Berurah would say that was permissible. But the Chazon Ish said no.
Right, because the Mishnah Berurah holds it's called tiltum begufay, which is not called tiltum bechlal, and it's mutter.
So that's not a tiltum and atzad.
No, because if it be tiltum and atzad, you wouldn't be allowed to do it. Because tiltum and atzad, the tzarech davar aser is also. It's not called tiltum bechlal. Mishnah Berurah holds beregel is like pushing with the elbow. It's not called tiltum bechlal. The Chazon Ish says no. There's a new machlokes by tiltum and atzad. If I have a knife. Is that called tiltum and atzad? Yeah.
Chasam Sofer or Chazon Ish?
Chazon Ish. It's really Shulchan Aruch. The Makar
here or
no,
the previous one.
Scraping with a knife.
Because there it was for sure the Chazon Ish.
No, there was Chazon Ish. Seif also?
No, there's Chazon Ish.
No, the Chazon Ish. It was the Chazon Ish with the foot. Here also, here it's really Shulchan Aruch. The Chazon Ish goes with the Shulchan Aruch. Right, they bring it down the back. Chazon Ish probably. Shibchas. I'll read the Chazon Ish. Okay, I read the Chazon Ish and have the part of the Chazon Ish here. Hataz Simish and Chesiv Koyin Ches hit to the Gar Muktzah. Besakin, he's matter to move muktzah with a knife. V'chashav lo tiltum and atzad v'tzarech mekaymoy, which means tzarech mekaymoy, which means tzarech davar heter. Miu yashleimar tezela mikra tiltum and atzad v'tzarech davar amutin The Lama Meshchach Evan Kli, the Mataltal Kli of Evan. Shama Tiltal Al Hakli. Aval Hacha Ikar Tiltal B'Shvil HaMuktzah. Oh, he says something else here. He says something else over here. No, I'm sorry. The Chazon Ish doesn't. Shulchan Aruch Rav says not called Tiltal Min Hatzad Bechlal. The Chazon Ish says a different taina. Chazon Ish said it's not called. We said moving the bones because you want the place. It's called Tiltal Min Hatzad. The Tzorech Dover Hamuter. Not the Tzorech Dover Isser. Says the Chazon Ish, if you're moving the muktzah itself, you cannot call it Tiltal Min Hatzad the Tzorech Dover Hamuter.
Why?
Because you're moving the muktzah itself. If he says no, he holds it's not called Tiltal Min Hatzad the Tzorech Dover Heter. He says the only time it's called Tiltal Min Hatzad the Tzorech Dover Heter is only when I'm not moving the muktzah directly. That means I have a kli, and something's on it, an isser's on it. I'm moving the kli because I want to move the kli, not because I want to move the stone. Here, you want to move the muktzah itself. Here, you want to move the bones. That's some that are left over. You want to move them. So you can't say that tzarech davar heter. That's what the Chazon Ish argues over here.
No, I want to move the plate.
Like the Mechaber, basically.
I want to move the plate.
No. This is not the Mechaber. This is if it's Tiltal Min Hatzad. The Mechaber doesn't speak of Tiltal Min Hatzad over here.
No, I want to move the plate. The bones are on.
No, if you move the plate with the bones on it, it's definitely called Tiltal Min Hatzad.
Yeah.
So I'm moving the plate. But if I'm moving the bones directly, not the plate, I'm taking a knife and I'm moving the bones directly with the knife.
Your hand.
He said it's not called Tiltal Min
Extension of your
Hatzad.
hand.
That's one taina. That's the Shulchan Aruch Rav's taina. That's extension of your hand. And he says it's called the Tzorech Davar HaAsr. That means I'm moving. As long as you're moving the muktzah directly, you can't call the Tiltal Min Hatzad the Tzorech Davar Heter.
Yeah.
Okay, another chumrah of the Chazon Ish, a different reason. But the Mishnah Berurah here finishes, and then we'll make a sikkum on the whole Seif here. Mishnah Berurah here finishes at the end of Sif Kod Kuf Tes Vav. Ve'im itzkaptu harbe yachad. If a lot of it was gathered together, umos olav lanicham kach al shulchan mutal la'aviram biyadayim tahavalei l'didei kegraf shalrei. You have a bunch of atzomois or klippos together on the table. To you, it's a graf sharei, and therefore you're allowed to move it.
Like
Biyadayim. Biyadayim. Now, a graf sharei is garbage,
right,
which bothers you. There's a heter to move it on Shabbos directly. So you're allowed to move it directly on Shabbos. Graf sharei. Now, when I started the learning the Seif, you have bones left over on the table. Right away, it's a graf sharei. The whole Seif does not mention one word about graf sharei. The Mishnah Berurah brings it down. If you have a big pile, it's a graf sharei, so now it's mutter to move it directly. A lot of places can hold, but today, if you have even one bone on a plate, it's a graf sharei. We're discussing about everything today.
Right.
So everything today becomes a graf sharei. So therefore, this whole Seif about Samois,
People are more mafunic.
So once you put it into partial graf sharei, then
everything becomes mutter.
Right.
So therefore, we have the whole shayla. Let's scrape off the bones.
Pasta is not an issue. Yeah.
No, so it depends. So now it depends. I'm not going to say everything's a graf sharei. You peel an orange. You have orange peels.
Yeah.
Orange peels you can't call graf sharei.
No.
It's disgusting about orange peels. You have something.
But
If you leave them out for a
it's
certain
good.
period of time,
You can give it behemoths.
You can't give it to behaviors,
Yeah.
right? So it's muktzah. Another example, you peel the pistachio nuts, right?
Right.
And you have the shells. You can't call it graf sharei. You're disgusted by it. You're disgusted by pistachio nuts lying on the table?
You don't know my wife.
Is that
Yeah.
no? But is that
No.
is that the definition?
That's not graf sharei.
It has to be mias.
It has to be mius. Not that you're perfectionist or that your house has to be clean, so you want everything clean. It's not graf sharei. Graf sharei means you're disgusted by it. It bothers you because of its mius. It's disgusting.
Smells or something.
It smells or it's disgusting. That's graf sharei. So on bones, when someone finishes eating and the leftovers on a person's plate, you could call a graf sharei.
Right. Okay.
You could call a graf sharei. But other things that are left over, peels, I don't know if you can call it a graf sharei so easily.
So as long as you put the pills on a plate, you're okay.
Yeah, as long as you put it on a plate, then that's the Seif.
Right.
Doesn't become a boss, you're allowed to move it, you're allowed to throw it into the garbage.
Right.
That's not a problem. You can't touch them. You don't touch the pills.
So use a knife, is that?
So using a knife, it comes onto the... No, so using a knife to scrape off the plates, you'll definitely be matter, because it's probably a graf sharei anyway. And even if it's not a graf sharei, then you have the head of the Mishnah Berurah and the Taz that say that it's mutter to scrape off the plate with a knife. So you have that head. But you can't make everything into a graf sharei today. Leftover plates, you can call it a graf sharei. Peels, I don't know if you can call that a graf sharei.
But what basic pill falls on the floor, for example? It's not on the table, it's on the floor now.
It's a problem. If a peel falls on the floor, if the peel falls on the floor,
But it's
not a graf sharei.
There's no graf sharei.
It bothers you that it's...
No,
somebody
graf
will step
sharei.
on that.
Right.
It's not a graf sharei means that you bother because it's meals,
Okay.
not because it's there,
But they
not
can-
because you want your house clean. It's not a graf sharei.
But you can say that because it's a danger, somebody will slip from it.
It's
then you can
dangerous.
think-
Something else.
So you have another deal to think
But there's
about.
something. Just have to be careful with. You have to be careful with. I would say more like pills and stuff
No.
that they are muktzah
Pills.
and they're not graf sharei. Left over on someone's plate, you call it a graf sharei. But peels, you have to be careful. I know I've seen many times people stashing nuts and they're playing with the shells. So first of all, it's a raya, it's not a graf sharei, because you won't be touching it if it's a graf sharei. And now it becomes muktzah. You're not touching, you're not playing with it.
Don't put on the table. Why put
Yeah,
the
I'm
stuff
saying
on
if
the
you
table
play
in
with
the
it.
first place?
So then we have to do
You're not
it.
really allowed to play with food altogether.
Right,
Huh?
if
You're
you
not really
peel
allowed to play with food.
Yeah, but it's not food. It's
I mean, oh, yeah.
shells.
Okay.
No,
Shells,
you
they're not
have
edible.
The garbage of
So
You didn't eat them and place them onto
Oh,
a
you need a
plate,
bus-
the
you need-
chatchila,
you
right? You ate, you
Right,
didn't-
it's
you
a
didn't-
problem.
You didn't think it through, you put them on the
You
table.
put them there, you can't touch them. You have to, you can use a knife.
So the best you can do is a
A
knife.
knife or soup loaf or
a
something.
napkin.
Or a napkin. A
Do you tilt the
napkin,
table and put it onto a plate that way, or?
sure, it's the best thing to do.
Right.
Tilt the table is the best thing to do.
You
because you
tilt
don't
the
have-
table and put it in the
You
garbage?
have your,
It's
sure.
not, but
It's the
it's
best
not
thing.
practical, you have your lighter on, it's like, you
Yeah,
know.
the best thing is to tilt the whole table if you could. But if you can't, so you have the head of the Mishnah Berurah, you use a knife. You know, you can sweep it off with something.
Or
But to pick it up directly,
right. But a
you have to put it in the
napkin,
garbage.
you can push it with a napkin.
You can push with a napkin, yeah. That's only with the Taz. Chazon Ish was not so happy with the napkin.
Because it's from your mouth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know.
So can I ask a quick, is food garbage, you know, we separate all the garbage, right? So
Right.
we have food garbage that actually smells, it gets rotten, you know.
Right.
What's the rule in terms of moving that, like putting that out of the house on Shabbos?
Yeah, it's a graf sharei.
So you
That's
consider that a
graf
graf
sharei, yeah,
sharei?
for sure. It smells in the house, it's a graf sharei, not take it out. The question is, yeah,
What about a cherry pit?
Not open,
You eat a cherry,
to open
you
the
put your hand
garage.
up, you spit it in your hand.
yeah.
You're holding it in your hand, so is that right, or is that a graf sharei?
Okay, so it's not a graf sharei. I don't know if it's a graf sharei, cherry pit. Maybe it is.
So the-
We'll
Once
see
it's in your
soon.
mouth, wouldn't you argue that it's already graf sharei?
Well, like
No, we'll
that,
see. We'll see.
Sunflower
For you, it's not a graf sharei.
Huh?
For you, it's not a graf sharei. If you
everybody
read-
else
It's in your mouth.
Yeah, we'll see in a second. We'll see later on the next season that if you have a pit, right, and you put it in your hand, a cherry pit, you put it in your hand. So we'll see soon. You know, some places say you shouldn't put it in your hand. You should spit it directly onto the plate. Otherwise,
That's the thing with
watermelon pits,
spit them out, yeah.
right? Watermelon pits, all these things. We'll see in the next
On my-
season.
on my
What do you do with it? Once you put it in your hand, who says you not put it in your hand?
But it's like sunflower seeds, you know, you kind of break them up.
Yeah, but here-
You eat the middle, but you're pulling out the shell, the casing.
So what, I see that real Israeli.
Oh,
You spit it out the shells. You don't put it down
Spit
there.
it out.
Yeah, you put the thing in your mouth and then all of the shells go fly out.
You don't spit it out. Once you press it, the seed automatically goes into your mouth. You don't need
Okay, so you're a well-tamed Israeli.
Yeah, you have to pass a couple of years there.
Don't eat cherry.
Or even
No, we'll see soon. We'll see soon about the whole halacha. We'll see in the next in the Seif Lamed about pits. We'll see about Garina soon.
Don't eat cherry.
Because the question is, if you spit it in your hand,
Right,
if you should do that, because now you hold the muktzah in your hand.
right.
But definitely, if you allow to put it in your hand, now it's muktzah, so you can put it down wherever you want.
Well, but graph sharia has to be for you personally, or for the whole, or could be not for you, but for other people in the home. Let's say that's a problem, because if you're putting out a plate into your hand, for you maybe
it's not graf sharei.
So for everybody else it is.
Yeah, your plate is not a graf sharei.
Right, but for everybody else it is.
Yeah, it's called a graf sharei anyway. Because for everybody it's a graf sharei. No, it's disgusting. No one wants to touch it.
Right.
Yeah, but Lamaisa, you can't spit pits if you're amongst company.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Pits onto a plate.
So we'll see soon. We'll see soon about spinning up pits. Yeah. There's a big shout in the place about spinning up pits. We'll see in Sivlamid. Okay, let's see a little weiter. So that's that. So basically, a quick chazar on this Seif is that anything you put onto a plate, the chayr doesn't become a basis, you're allowed to take it and shake it out into the garbage. It's not a problem. But you had to have a pass to put something onto the plate. The chayr, I don't know if we have that today, practically what the case would be. And graf sharei would be when it becomes a graf sharei, you're allowed to do it. The person speak about rolling up the tablecloth. Right, there's mukta on the tablecloth, and you're rolling it up, the plastic tablecloth, and you throw it in the garbage.
Right.
So according to the Chazon Ish, you have to know if that's called tiltum minatzar or not. And does it become a bosses? It doesn't become a bosses. Everyone's matter it. Everyone's matter it. It's graf sharei.
It's like a tabla.
It's like a tavla. Like a tavla, yeah. It's about to roll it up. The only thing you have to be careful is not to touch the muktzah directly.
With the plate, you don't have to shake it off. You can also take a knife and scrape it off. Like
according to Taz, you could.
You can. Right.
According to Taz, you can. According to Mishmur, you could. According to Chazon Ish and the Shulchan Aruch Harav, you should be careful with that.
So, but why is graf sharei not brought down here?
I don't know. So I was bothered by, as a matter of fact, I've written inside my Shulchan Aruch, what happened to graf sharei. But I don't want to reach it out, as Mr. Brewer says, if there's a lot, then it becomes a graf sharei. That's what Mr. Brewer says over here. It could be in those days, a bone on a plate wasn't a graf sharei. It didn't bother people. Bones on the table wasn't a graf sharei. People were disgusted by it. Today, it became normal for Nokim. So anybody's leftovers, even if it's not a bone, even if it's a piece of potato kugel, that someone's leftovers, we get disgusted by it. And it could be any leftovers today could become a graf sharei.
No, but I'm saying if it's a big piece that you cut off it to the area that was eaten, it's still there.
Yeah.
So they have an issue.
So you have to. It's hard to give a clear rule what's called graf sharei. Leftover portions. Anybody's leftover portions today, no one touches.
Yeah.
Are you disgusted by it if it sits there? Leftover with bones and stuff, then you're disgusted by it. So it could be that's why they don't bring down graf sharei here. You can't just use graf sharei so easily. It has to be double mos. They're disgusted by it. Okay, Seif Chav Ches. Chavila Eitzir v'kash, bundles of wood and straw. She'eskinam l'maychel behema, afiluhem gedolim harbe mutal talpulam. You prepared it for Michael Behema. It's mutter, it's not muktzah because it was set aside for that from before Shabbos. Says the Mishnah over here, it says the Magen Avram, Sivkot and Gimel, She'eskinan avostama oimed la'asaka, regular eitzim is meant for burning, v'kash shalom stama oimed l'shchiva, the Michael Behema, and therefore our kash today is mutter even without setting it aside before Shabbos. Sivchav Tes. Kolshu royal Michael Chaya v'oif. Anything that's chaya, an animal, a bird, hamatsuyim, that's around, metaltal oisai, you let them be metaltal it, walkers are not muktzah. V'meinai royal Michael Chaya v'oif, she'ena metzuyim. But if this thing, this leftovers is at somewhere, whatever it is only meant for Chayav Oif, which is not Motzu in your neighborhood. If you have that type of Chayav Oif, then you could be metaltal it. Because you have that Chayav Oif and you'll give it to them. Well, the Fizeh says the Ramah, Mutul Taltal at Samash and Esparkum and Abasar, you're allowed to be metaltal bones that the meat was taken off, made of Shabbos. In Ru'im l'klavim, the klavim, Matsuyim, dogs are very common. Now, the poskim here are very busy with what's this halacha, how it applies to today. It says over here, any atzamos, right? We said before, it's Sif Chav Zayin. Atzamas for klipin, it's royal ma'achal behema, it's not muktzah. Ein royal ma'achal behema, it becomes muktzah. And then he says, if you have stuff that's royal chayiv v'oy for birds and for chayiv, it's not muktzah. So the question is today, and so today the kind of bones on a plate shouldn't be muktzah. You have a plate, any leftovers from your plate, the chayr shouldn't be muktzah, because you could, animals eat it. Animals eat everything. That what we throw out today from our plates, the animals will eat everything. The bones, maybe not the meat bones, but the chicken bones and everything, the animals eat. So the chayr shouldn't be muktzah. But the poskim say today that no one.
So this is, just to clarify, there's no meat on them.
There's no meat on them. Right. There's still meat on them. Anyway,
that's for sure.
Right.
And if it has no meat on them,
if animals will eat it, chicken bones. Animals eat chicken bones.
But we spoke out that this is still a problem for the Ashkenaz for Noilad.
It's all out somewhere.
Right.
Right. The Mechaber here is going without Noilad.
So it's not going
The
to help
Mechaber is
you.
going without Noilad.
Correct. Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, if you machmer Noilad, that'll be a problem. Correct.
I thought we said we are, right? Tav Tzadikei, we
Yeah,
are.
the machmer Noilad, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to...
Not for this Noilad. The Gomber, everyone holds it.
Everybody, no,
Everyone holds it.
this Noilad, we are.
This Noilad, yeah. Especially with Shabbos, we have to...
Right, so
Yeah.
what we're about to say,
Yeah,
but animals doesn't help us.
Now that it's right for animals,
Doesn't help us.
right, because it's Noilad.
For
Right.
Ashkenaz, yeah.
Correct. Chayr should help.
Wait, what's the story there? Why is it Nolan?
It's because now it's Michael, or now it's Michael Behemo.
But why is that an oilet? I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a machal. Maybe a machal for different people. In other words, behemoths is opposed to people, but it's still a machal. It still has a share
the
machal.
Moshe says, Atzama Shurim leKlav Meklip Shurim Michael Behemo. He says, "Mut Lavir." Says the Magen Avraham, "Hainu Leman Da'amar Noel Chari." If you hold Noel is mutter. If you hold Noel is also as mashma. This is called
This
Noel.
whole din is
Yeah, it's called Noel.
Where was that? That's the remote?
So, but the truth is, this is the Magen Avraham. So here, it depends in which, it depends in if there's such animals in the neighborhood. So the person we're very busy there today, the mice, no one gives food, this type of food to animals. Leftover food, you don't give to animals. If anybody has any pets, you buy special pet food. No one will give their animals today.
Particularly chicken bones are not good for dogs.
They're not going to get caught. They get caught.
Choking.
Yeah, they're choking them. Anything. All the clip about some mice today, no one gives it to animals. So even if klavim are common, but no one feeds it to them. So that shouldn't be a heter today because we don't give it to them. That's some person say.
It's graf.
And some person say the opposite. But today, anything you throw in the garbage, if you don't block your bins, the animals are coming. The raccoons and whatever they eat everything. They'll lick everything dry, take everything, any food left in the garbage, they'll take. So the chayra, animals do eat it. So there's a machlokes in the poskim today, if what it means animals. Does animals mean animals that you pet, that you feed? Domestic? Or does it mean no? Even animals that are outside in the streets that are eating everything, it goes to them. So the mice, you can't rely, most person cannot rely on animals in the street. Because you're not allowed to feed them on Shabbos. It's also for you to feed animals that aren't domesticated on Shabbos. You're not allowed to feed them on Shabbos. Your animals, you're allowed to feed on Shabbos. So therefore, a lot of places can say that today, there's no heter of klavim. Dogs eat everything, there's no heter of klavim today. Why? Because the klavim will not, you don't give pets this type of food. You buy special pet food. Even if you won't have the heter. So I don't know if we can rely on the heter of the fact they give it to animals, even today. I know there are some places that say that's the opposite today. The animals eat everything outside. I don't know if we can rely on that heter. But one thing you have to realize, even if you rely on that heter, it's only things that animals could eat. Orange peels, animals don't eat. Pistachio things, the animals don't eat. All those things are real muktzah. There won't be any heter for the only thing you'll have a heter for is maybe chicken bones. But otherwise, there's nothing today that the animals eat that we throw out. They lick everything. They lick all the food. But let's say there's no food in bones or shells, this type of things. Those things are all muktzah.
What about corn on the cob? Even when you finish the corn,
right?
What's the status of that cob now? Because there's always going to be something left over there.
Something edible, you're saying?
Yeah.
There's something edible, it's not muktzah.
Suck the juices out of it.
Even if you're not eating it. I mean, I don't think we spoke at that Mishnah. Mishnah says over here. Yeah, Mishnah says over here, Tzidkar Kufir Dalet. Mishnah Kufir Dalet says till Zayin. Al Kol Zehu Dafka, and the sparkle of Gamri is totally clean. Afukeim Nishtayim Miktzas Basar Ayatzamais, then Mutal Taltal, I said, Agava Basar. Then you're allowed to move it. As long as you have something left over, if you're a drop, then it's not muktzah. And what are you going to say? Leave it over, no one's going to touch it. Why not? If you decide you want to eat some more, you may lick it off. Somebody else won't touch it only because it's disgusted by it. It's graf sharei for him. So monofshik will have a heter. Either it's graf sharei, that no one's going to touch it, or you'll have a heter because there's some leftovers on it, and you yourself will eat it. So according to the carb, most people don't eat it till they can't get anything out of it anymore.
So you can actually theoretically have something that is muktzah for you, but not muktzah for somebody else. In other words, meaning a corn on. If there's still something left on it, you may still eat it.
So it's not muktzah.
But for somebody else, it would be graf sharei.
So it's not muktzah for you because you'll eat it.
Yeah.
If the other person is graf sharei, so for none of you it's muktzah.
Right.
Yeah. Monofshik, it's not muktzah.
Oh, and monofshik. Okay, true.
It's not either for you or for the other person. It's not muktzah.
Right.
For different reasons.
For different reasons, yeah. Because you can still eat it.
Right.
So, what's the chiddush in Chav Tes compared to when we started here in Chav Zayin? Chav Zayin, he told us that if you have bones that are for roy for
yeah.
And here,
I think it explains to you what's called roy b'klavim.
So
and if you have the klavim,
right? That's what I was going to say. Is that
if you have
let's say, for example, you don't own a dog.
That's what it says. No,
right, but is it totally on that you own a dog?
No, it's not about you. It's not telling you. People in the neighborhood have it. It's not called muktzah anymore. So you can give Yenna's dog also.
So is that what this kind of, in other words, it's oisel me and mean, I don't own a dog. The dog is very prevalent.
The next door neighbor.
But I don't own a dog. Right. So now does that thing which is royal achilas keleb, but there is no keleb in my house.
Doesn't make a difference. As long as people in the neighborhood have it, it's not muktzah anymore.
If you gave it to somebody,
if you give it to a dog. You can give to your neighbor's dog also if you want. You don't have to have that animal. You don't have to have that animal. That's the Seif.
But it's only
you don't have to have that
that's
animal.
Right. So this means that it doesn't have to be. There has to be something prevalent.
Correct.
All right. That's what I thought. I actually thought maybe you had to have a
you
dog.
You don't have to have.
Or a cat or whatever.
But it says that if you don't have a imlav asu, it says here.
If you look at look at the Mishnah Berurah Khan Kuf Chaf. Kuf Chaf. לפי זה, רוצלם, לפי מה שנסבר שכשהוא רוי לחי ואויב המצויים, אף שאין לוי מאויסי המין, even though you don't have it, מותר לטלטל, גם בזה מותר לטלטל. Even in this case, מותר לטלטל. You see me first, it says even though you don't have it.
No, he means maybe that you have you don't have the dog, but you have another animal that eats the meat.
No,
so you are allowed
to roi לחי ואויב המצויים, אף שאין לו, even though you don't have one.
It's very, Mishnah
very clear.
Clear.
Yeah. Very clear. Even though you don't have it, still it's mutter taltal. It has to be.
So the chiddush of Chav Tes is to be moved.
Explains, explains what it means.
Nukuda you have to have.
Right. What does it mean that it's royal l'klavim?
Right.
Yeah, that's what Chav Tes is explaining.
Right.
Chav Zayin.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to finish up the Lam We'll go through next week.